Good morning, Internet. Yashoda here with West Coast Yoga. Today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, Chapter 1, Text 20, which reads as follows. Kritavan kila karmani saharamena keshava ati martyani bhagavan guda kapeta manusha. I'll read a few sentences of Prabhupada's purport for good measure. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The doctrines of anthropomorphism, or that of zoomorphism, are never applicable to Sri Krishna or the personality of Godhead. The theory that a man becomes God by dint of penance and austerities is very much rampant nowadays, especially in India. Since Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were detected by the sages and saints to be the personality of Godhead, as indicated in revealed scriptures, many unscrupulous men have created their own incarnations. This process of concocting as incarnation of God has become an ordinary business, especially in Bengal. What Prabhupada is touching upon in this verse is that the personality of Godhead has a particular mission in coming to the material world. Krishna never actually touches matter, but he performs what is known as lila, or different pastimes, and the association of his intimate servants and friends. And in recent history, Lord Krishna was on earth only 5,000 years ago, performing what is known as Nara Lila, or he behaved as if human. When Krishna was operating in human society, he was mistaken as an ordinary person by many, let's say, unqualified people, even members of his own family. And during the Rajasuya sacrifice, only the more enlightened members were able to detect that Krishna should be worshipped first. And there were actually an opposition party, including Shishupal and the sons of Dhritarashtra. So when God comes to earth, sometimes he displays the opulences of the personality of Godhead with different arms, different weapons. Vishnu is famous as holding 4 weapons: Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. The Lord's wheel is known as the wheel of time, and it is always turning and creating a blazing condition for the residents of the material world. This is known as Hari Chakra, a very powerful weapon in the hand of the Lord. The Lord's conch is known as Panchajanya. Panchajanyang Rishikesho Devadattang Dhananjaya. The Lord's conch appears like the face of a white swan. Because Krishna's palm is reddish, it is as if the beak of the bird is sporting within the red lotus flower. The Lord's club is known as Kamaduki, and although originally golden in complexion, it has become reddish, stained with the blood of the demons. And finally, the Lord also carries a lotus flower, which is a clear representation of the goddess of fortune. So in this way, when the Lord comes to the material world, he's often seen carrying these different weapons and possessing different divine opulences. But sometimes Krishna wants to pretend to be human and to disguise himself among the human population. During Krishna's appearance, he was born in the family of the Kauravas. And by social calculation, his father, Vasudeva, was simply a minister in the court of Ugrasena, whereas Arjuna's father, Pandu, was the world emperor. So sometimes Arjuna would chide Krishna that you're simply the son of a minister, I am the son of the world emperor. So by external calculation, Arjuna's position was superior. And later in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna apologized that, my Lord, many, many times, both in private and in public, I defamed you. But now I'm seeing that you are the universal form comprising all manifestations, past, present, and future. Please forgive me for these offenses. I am your submissive servant. So when the living entity becomes a little bit more thoughtful, we can perceive how the Lord is manifesting diverse energies. Ahang sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvang pravartate. Krishna is the source of both the material and spiritual energies. So it is his energy which is being manifest. And we are simply an infinitesimal part of the greater population. Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. Out of innumerable spiritual entities existing eternally, there is one who is the predominator, and all others are predominated. So when the living entity comes to this understanding, we can resume our activities on the spiritual plane. And Krishna consciousness is an opportunity to practice these activities even within the so-called material world. So Krishna incarnates in different features and in different times, simply to instruct the human population how to practice to become perfect in spiritual realization. And the great sages like Vyasadeva have recorded these histories as essential parts of the human education. Any human being that sets aside these important studies of the Vedas, the Vedanta, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, anyone who sets aside these studies favoring more of an atheistic, let's say, degree, will find their understanding of God lacking. And because we are part of God, we will not be able to understand our own self. Prabhupada used to comment that what is the use in studying the green grass? The grass is already existing. If we waste our human energy studying how grass grows, there'll be no tangible benefit. Whereas if we spend our energy understanding our source, what is known as Atma Tattva, the science of the self, not only will we be benefited, but we can help to benefit our friends, our family, and the greater population. Thank you very much for your kind attention. See you next time for class. Hare Krishna.